There's like really like, the music's kind of loud in the back, so maybe I think it'll probably come through in the recording.
Alrighty, we're back with another episode.
For now.
For today, my topic of discussion is something that I've been thinking about myself a lot, and that is my perspective on living abroad throughout my life and how
Living
it changes
abroad.
based on how old I am.
Like the concept of living abroad, or like
Right, like, like it's different to like do an exchange year in high school abroad versus go to undergrad versus go to grad school versus live in your 20s versus live in your
right.
and like which places are ideal for which parts of your life, if that makes sense.
You think there are ideal places for different parts of your life?
Well, I don't think that there are ideal places necessarily for different parts of your life, but I think that there are places in my head that like I would do in some parts of my life and I wouldn't in others is like the specification.
I see.
So like even so for like for example Kenya, right? Like I would like bar other things like there are other like things in my life that would prevent me from doing this at this current time. But like as a complete
Right.
theoretical, like, I wouldn't mind living in Kenya if I'm young, I feel like. And like that goes for most places, I suppose. Like, I feel like when I'm younger, my like so I guess to preface this, I do want to live abroad, definitely.
Okay.
And but I think it changes based on my years, which is why I had this idea. So like when I'm younger, I feel like I would do something that's more like different to where I'm from. Because when I'm younger, I just feel like I have like a higher tolerance for that. Like it like doesn't
Right.
bother me. Like I can go somewhere that's extremely different and enjoy it and like have a good time. But I think it's partially because you have like less responsibilities. You don't have a family. Like you don't have kids. More importantly, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, those sorts of things change things. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to live somewhere that's like quite different when I'm younger, culturally at least. Like maybe not somewhere like Kenya, but yeah, like somewhere like Japan, I think would be cool.
Right.
But I just don't know if that's somewhere that I could be long term, because I just think it would be like maybe stifling as I get older, or like maybe get just like exhausting if you feel like you're not being accepted completely, or like these sorts of things, or like it's a high pressure environment for having children. Those sorts of limitations.
Right.
And so then like in my later years, like I mean, and like later it even starts like pretty early, I suppose. Like I mean, depending on when I would be having kids or something like that. But like, I guess like at that age, then I would transition to wanting to be in more like safe, quote unquote, like not in the literal sense, but safe, like whatever countries, like
Like comfortable.
right, like Norway or a Scandinavian country, or like
Right.
any Western European country. Those sorts of things. You know what I mean? I don't know what your take is on this.
Yeah, just like closer cultural proximity, and
Right.
also language is a big one. Like
Right.
way of thinking. I mean, Norway and Scandinavia are like pretty different from the U.S. definitely, but I'd say the average person would probably think more similarly to an American than the average Japanese person.
Right, certainly closer.
Yeah.
And I also think a
Yeah.
big thing for me is like acceptance culturally, like not standing out. Like I think I have a high
Right.
tolerance for that right now. Like in Kenya this summer, like people point
I'm
me
sure
out.
you're getting a lot of attention. Yeah.
Right. People point me out. People say like want to say hi to you, want to do things with you, take a picture of you, etc. Which is like totally fine for a short period, or I think just generally when I'm younger, I don't care as much. But then I think it would
Yep.
become exhausting if it was my permanent life, and
Your
if I had
everyday.
kids,
Yeah.
or like when I'm alone traveling, it's different. Even if I was traveling like with my girlfriend, I feel like it would become a much bigger annoyance to like walk around with your family and like constantly have that happen to you.
100%. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that there's something inherent to like being with other people that makes it. There's like an aspect of privacy that starts to get infringed on. So, for example, if I'm with my girlfriend, then I think it would bother me more if people are constantly
Right.
coming up and taking pictures. Like, even though like when I think about it, there's actually not that much difference, and it's like for the same reasons. Like, I don't care when people come up to take pictures of me or say, "Hey, what up?" in Kenya to me specifically, because I don't really care for my pride. People can take a picture of me in public. Like, that goes for the U.S. and any other country. I don't really care about my privacy in that way, and my reason for not caring is like, where's that image going to go that I actually am going to be affected by or care about or whatever? I'm never
No,
going to see it
yeah.
again. Like, I just don't care. And so the same logic applies to, like, if I was with my girlfriend, but for whatever reason, it feels like more of an infringement on privacy, I feel like.
Right? Like, you probably wouldn't feel that just with like a normal friend.
Yeah, no, it's true. I definitely
Yeah.
don't think I would. Like, if it was me and you traveling, and someone was like,
Dude, we gotta
all right,
go to China, bro.
I don't think I would mind.
Oh my. We gotta go to the middle of nowhere, China. They'll eat you up. They'll love it. They'll love it.
Bro, they would. It would be.
They
yeah,
would.
and you're not getting. You can just observe.
They don't care. That's been my experience in Asia, where
Well,
I've
what's
mostly traveled.
kind of interesting too is that, like, I feel like Asians generally, like from Asia, I mean. So I guess mostly Chinese people and Indian people tend to expand a lot, like live abroad a lot. So like even in Kenya, I feel like it was like relatively among the foreigners that I saw, there's pretty high percentages of specifically in Kenya Indian people, but also Chinese people. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
the case with like so many places, you know what I mean? Like, it's probably just like a numbers thing. A numbers thing, but also kind of a cultural thing. Like, I think that China, you can correct me here, is China different from Japan in the sense that I feel like Japan is a little bit more closed off, maybe? Like, people aren't trying to leave Japan or live abroad. Like, there are just not as many Japanese people trying to live abroad compared to
Right.
Chinese people.
I mean, there are so many Chinese. I mean, yeah, there's so it's just China's just been around for so long. So like, the people who are from there have just spread out slowly.
Right.
Like in Thailand and Vietnam have a huge Chinese like heritage sort of population. Back in the day, there were definitely a lot of like outward migration to other countries to try to, I mean, in the U.S. is the classic things like nail salons or restaurants, Chinese restaurants.
Right.
Just like try to open up their business and then
So-
make money.
Do you think that it's just like a time and population thing, or do you think that there's also some difference in like cultural perspective on moving/living abroad?
There are some regions that are definitely like pretty locked into the moving abroad. I forget the name of it, but there's one region in particular where most of its economy came initially from they would like move abroad, and they were all like, it was kind of sort of like a merchant region, and they would move abroad, and like, I don't know if they would sell their things or sell whatever, but they were pretty successful in starting businesses and making money, and then they would send that money back to China to like improve the region. So that's sort of like, I think that's the way a lot of people in China saw it before. I think nowadays it's more similar to especially the rich Chinese people. It's more similar to how we in the West would look at stuff. I'm just gonna move to where the money is, basically.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. And I feel like it's not quite as popular a thing to think in countries like Japan or Korea, even.
Yeah, I think they're probably more insular. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I guess what reminded me of, or how I got to that was just, I feel like there is some degree of like, not anonymity, but like Asians generally, like Indians and Chinese people, and like people in Kenya, for example, aren't good at distinguishing between different East Asians.
No,
But they,
no one really is.
yeah, but they, like I feel like white people get more attention even in those places, for that reason. Just because like
Yep.
Asians have spread out more. So like almost everywhere in the world that you go, white people tend to get more of the like wow, that's a foreigner attitude towards them.
Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere I could go where would be.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong, people would still be surprised to see you in Kenya.
I mean,
But,
they
like,
would be. I just don't think. I
not as
don't think
much,
there's
maybe.
anywhere I would go where it'd be like heavily like impactful to my life. Where it'd be like every day. People aren't going to be asking me to take a picture. People aren't going to be trying to touch my hair or whatever. And I know that happens to some foreigners, especially when you're white.
Right. Yeah, it is a different thing.
So
But yeah, for me, I do think that's like a slightly limiting factor for places that I would live when I'm older, at the very least.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like, no matter how much you integrate in some of these places, like, obviously people who know you will be like, oh, okay, he speaks fluent Chinese or Japanese or whatever it is, Swahili.
Right.
And so they'll treat you like a local. But any new person that sees you, obviously the assumption is that you're not a local. And so then it's just like, you have to start every interaction with this assumption, no matter how good you are. And then that I think is the exhausting part.
Yeah, and since we brought up China and Japan, I think we should just say like, obviously, like Shanghai and Tokyo, super like international cities. There's plenty of foreigners there, but what we're getting at is sort of like just the integration's still not there. I mean, I don't know exactly how it works in those cities, but I know in Taipei, I wouldn't say it's too common. I mean, like foreigners sort of have their own spot, I guess you could say. It's sort of like the foreigner group and then the domestic group, and they mix sometimes. But I do think there's definitely a separation there, just from the
Right.
pure
Yeah,
fact
I
that you
think-
don't look.
Right, exactly. I think that's like the good evidence for it, for what I'm talking about, where it's like, people who say in Tokyo, Americans in Tokyo, plenty of them probably speak very fluent Japanese. They've been living there
Yeah, there's a
long
lot
time.
of them too. Yeah.
But despite that, they still like tend to send their kids to like ASIJ or belong to the American club and like hang out with
Right.
other expats. And so it's like,
Yeah.
and that's just because like, no matter what, when you walk into the, like, you hear stories of like people walking into the restaurant and you speak fluent Japanese and they still hand you the English menu. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's just how it goes. You know what I mean? And so even these people who have been here for so long, and I'm sure I could do it, like it wouldn't be like the end of the world for me to be in that situation. Definitely not. But I think it's just not preferable to have this situation where
Long term, yeah.
Right, I find myself like seeking out some niche club of foreigners to hang out with because I'm not getting treated completely normally in my daily life by locals. Like, I don't think that
Right.
is a preferable thing for like almost exclusively in the long term. Like, I really don't care short term. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's
Like,
chill.
even
I
for
think
a
short
period
term
of
is
a
extremely
few
chill.
years, like I think I would be fine. Up to even maybe like very max, I think I could do like 8 to 10 years in some
8 to 10.
situation like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you seem to be saying is more just the actually settling down and like staying somewhere for a while is
Yeah,
the,
I think
the
permanent
concern.
is the really
That's the concern.
limiting thing.
Yeah.
Is like the I think it's the only limitation is places in which I'm deciding whether I want to stay permanently, like for the rest of my
Right.
life. Like for anything that
Yeah.
is finite, it doesn't bother me. But for anything that's permanent, I feel like that might just feel like a suffocating thing.
I agree. It would definitely be suffocating.
Right. And then, like, that issue just doesn't exist if I'm in somewhere like Norway. I think that I could be, like, fully integrated into Norwegian social circles with no issue.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, and I do think, I don't know, something that I find funny is the reverse where it's on college campuses. You know what I mean?
Like,
The Chinese
oh, yeah.
mass of people.
No, it's
And,
super true.
It's super true. Even Asian Americans
Right. And I think,
almost exclusively hang out with Asian Americans.
right, which is a really fascinating thing. And yeah,
It is.
specifically the Asian American one, because it will literally be people who are, like Asian American in the sense that they have grown up entirely in the US and sometimes don't even speak the other language.
Many of them don't
just
speak it.
English. So it'll be a group
Yeah,
of
it's just English.
Asian Americans who are exclusively English speaking, but almost exclusively hanging out with other Asian Americans. And so like that's
I think it's a Bay Area effect, bro. It's terrible.
bro, it is a Bay Area effect.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's,
And then they bring in all the other Asians from across the country into their Bay Area groups.
right. No, it's true, and it's pretty interesting. I think it just goes to show, like, even when full integration is possible, because it's not like that's a universal thing, right? Like there are plenty of Asian Americans that have fully, American diverse friend groups.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's totally, the U.S. is so diverse at this point. Like, the same limitation does not exist. Like, someone from any race can be, I think, I truly believe, like, part of any race friend group with no limitation.
No, yeah, definitely.
But, like, it shows that there is still some, like, preference just for, like, some sort of familiarity. I think there's some comfort in, like, I don't know. I think a lot of Asian Americans specifically tend to. I don't know. You're better source on this, but like I think a lot of Asian Americans like tend to relate on like their like lives from education, like expectations to parents, to like just norms that they've grown up with, and like it feels more relatable to hang out with other Asian Americans for whatever reason.
I mean, I'm Asian, so it's a little different, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I'm not part of any big Asian friend group on my campus. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be.
Yeah,
'Cause,
but
I don't know.
it is
It's
interesting.
weird.
Like, how do you think that would have changed if you grew up in the Bay with like a much higher Asian population? Because like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's like not many Asian people where we grew up.
Right, exactly. So it's like, I think in that case scenario, you're like forced to be like
Right.
fully integrated. But
Yeah.
in the Bay, like, I think when people tend to have those friend groups is when they like have the availability for those friend groups, right? So it's like if there are like an abundance of Asian Americans, which is the case in the Bay, then it's like
Yeah,
easy.
definitely.
It's really easy to make that like your friend group situation. And it does make me think like, it does make me curious, like in my own situation, say I did end up in Norway or something, if I would be 100% integrated, or would I still belong to some like international circles?
Right. I think you have to be, right?
In which one? In some
I think you have to
international
be
circles, you mean?
involved in some international circles, right? Because, I mean, I don't know how I don't know if I'm right, but is Norway strict on immigration? I don't know, but regardless, like
Yeah, I mean they are.
they're probably pretty strict. but I think especially if there's a new foreigner around or a tourist or something like that, or someone backpacking, I'm sure if you're the foreigner who is like from the U.S. and knows Norway extremely well, you've been living there for a couple years. I mean, I'm sure like you'd be happy to help someone out with planning something or doing something, and I think from that you'd probably just get involved in some sort of foreigner uh, group or
Circle,
something.
yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's true. I
Like
do
you
think
can
it
be
is
like
to
the
some
guy.
extent unavoidable. Yeah.
Or just like you just know people in the U.S. and they'll be like, "Oh, I know a guy who also moved to Norway," and then you just get
Right.
connected that way.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's true. Just having
it's
shared
super hard to
history and
say.
shared characteristics is
Yeah.
like, and it's almost like, it almost does feel like a little bit. It feels like a little bit elitist both ways, almost. Or if it's like, I don't like the attitude where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna hang out with like other foreigners. Like
Right.
maybe elitist isn't the word, but like exclusionist. I don't know. Is that a word? Um, like to yeah, it feels. I obviously don't like the attitude of I'm just gonna hang out with other foreigners, but simultaneously the attitude of like I'm exclusively hanging out with locals. I'm not trying to be one of the people who doesn't hang out with any foreigners. Is like to some extent also an exclusionary like philosophy.
Yeah.
And like very difficult to achieve depending on where you are once again. And I think this was I actually had experience with this summer, because I went into Kenya thinking, okay, I just kind of want to hang out with Kenyan people so I can be like fully integrated.
Right.
That was my goal. And so for the first 5 weeks, I was in Kenya for 9 weeks, and so for the first 5 weeks, I didn't hang out with any foreigners.
Right.
And but the thing is, I didn't really hang out with any locals either. like, like it was like, like I had friends at work, and
Right.
I would
Yeah.
talk to
You
them
saw them
during
at work and
work.
stuff.
But outside of work, I was just traveling alone. And I think that in that situation, which the same limitation doesn't apply everywhere you go, but in that situation, it was just like, I'm traveling, I'm going to dinners and trying new restaurants, and those are foreigner, or at the very least, like very wealthy things to do in Kenya. And so the average worker can't afford to do those things on a consistent basis, if at all. And so they just can't hang out with you. And so if
They're
you're
just not
doing
going to do it. Yeah.
completely different things, then you just can't hang out with them. And so like that's a huge limitation. And so like, obviously in other places where like wealth is not an issue, there's still other limitations of just like what you enjoy doing, like these sorts of things.
How you enjoy doing them.
Right. And like all of those like
For
cultural
example,
tendencies.
hiking. I think I would be a little having not a great time if I hiked with some people.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that is in many ways a cultural thing. To some extent. There's obviously you can find people who
To some extent, yeah.
fit within your niche of hiking or whatever activity you choose from probably any country. But I think there are like general tendencies for
Generalizing based on what I've seen in Japan and China and Taiwan, like they're just very, the type of people that have the time to hike or want to hike are pretty. They don't do it the way that I would prefer.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've obviously only been in Japan, but in terms of East Asia, but in Japan it was like the population that was hiking was number one, extremely old. Number two, as a consequence of that, doing extremely short hikes. Number three, often doing the hikes guided. And always staying in huts. And so, like, I'll stay in huts. I have no problem with that. I really don't like doing things guided if I don't have to. Which the only place I've ever had to was in Kenya, and
In Kenya, yeah.
I like doing long all day hikes where you get to move fast, and
Yep.
those sorts of things. And obviously, those are limiting for that population. So I do think, yeah. So say for example, you move to Japan, you're trying to find people to hike with. If 90% of the hiking market doesn't hike like you do,
Yeah.
that's just a limitation. Whereas if you go to Austria, I'm sure that you might have an easier time finding
Easily.
people to hike with
Easily.
you. Or like drinking
That's
is another
true.
thing that's interesting.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
one
'cause you
that
don't
I wasn't
drink.
even really thinking about. Yeah, I don't really drink.
Yeah. That's a big one. That's a huge one, actually.
Yeah, I know. That
might be the biggest one.
It's an
Might be
enormous
the
one now that I'm
largest.
really thinking about it. But yeah, like I drink like, I don't know, maybe total in a year 5 to 6 times probably.
It's not much. Yeah.
So it's like, and like 3 of them are in the summer, and then 3 during the school year. So it's like, that's very limiting because, so many people like to drink casually, like to drink, just at dinner, just
Yeah.
go out on a night, go to the bar, like to drink. Even like in Europe, it's popular to drink hiking. You go up to like one of the
Yeah,
huts and they have beer.
they probably do. Yeah.
Or people bring beer or whatever it is. And in Japan, like that's another thing in Japan. Like if I was, for example, working in Japan, then there's all sorts of things
You kind of
about,
have to, yeah.
right, like respect and going out to the drinking things after the work day with your boss or whoever it is. And so
Right.
those sorts of things would be extremely limiting. And that's a really interesting one because I think it's the only example of like that category of cultural limitation, preference, etc., where it's like
Right.
something that is like inherently harmful to you is kind
Socially,
of
yeah.
required socially in some situations and just limiting. I think you'll probably find that if there's some study, I'm sure there's some study that says people who drink have more friends.
That's probably true.
Right? Like, I think that's almost assuredly the case.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah. So that is a limitation, and it's totally dependent on the country. Some places are such heavy drinking countries, and some places are really not. Well, honestly, so
I
many
think a lot of
places
countries
just
are
drinking
drink a lot.
countries.
I think the U.S. is pretty unique in that a lot of people don't drink. There's like a sizable population that does not drink at all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, now that I do think about it, I think the U.S. is probably one of the most tame out of all of the countries.
It is.
At least on a
there's
societal
extremes,
expectation
but-
level. Kenya
people
was
don't care,
interesting. Like, I feel like Kenya, I don't know. I don't really know corporate Kenya. Well, I mean, I guess I do. I mean, I have more experience working
No more
there
than
I do
me.
in the U.S., so, like, there wasn't any form of expectation of drinking in my experience. People go out. People like to go out in Nairobi, because Nairobi is like known as like the party city, I think, in much
yeah.
of Africa. So like
Really? Okay.
when someone like comes to Nairobi, it's like you come to go out a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so like when I would meet people who are like traveling from somewhere else in Africa, they would be super excited, like, oh,
Right,
about to hit the
right.
clubs, whatever. That's
Right.
what I came to Nairobi for.
That's the vibe.
Right. And so, but, that wasn't my experience, but it probably could have been, I guess, if that's what I was into. Yeah.
I can't tell if these things like become clearer as you get older, or I mean, because it definitely happens when you're a kid as well, and it's why you get close to certain people instead of others. but I wonder if it's. I feel like it's not as defined back then. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Like
Um,
which things are expectations and which are not, and
yeah, expectations and also just like the way you like to do things or hobbies. I feel it's so much. As an adult, it's
cut
way
and
harder
dry.
to be like just to go do something that you don't really do or don't want to do or don't, you know?
Right. No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I feel like when you're a kid, it's just like everyone kind of does everything, and then you somehow like, you just have so much time around the same
Yeah,
people in
somehow.
school that you just like somehow navigate to people who are
Somehow you
similar to
figure
you.
it out.
But yeah, as an adult, it becomes more of like you. There are these very cut and dry habits that people have or preferences or yeah, I mean
Yeah.
drinking really is like the crown jewel of this where
Yeah, because if you go
someone
out and you're not,
people who go out
if
versus people
people
who don't go
buy
out,
you a drink,
it's different circles,
if
like
they,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah, and
huh,
most of Europe, I I believe, drinks pretty heavily, and then
yeah, I think so.
Asia drinks pretty heavily.
Does.
I don't know if India drinks. I mean, it's
No
obviously in
idea.
Asia, but I don't really know about Indian drinking
Yeah,
tendencies.
no clue.
Or, yeah, I mean, even Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe does.
Yeah,
Western Europe does.
vodka. Yeah,
The
wine.
Middle East doesn't, I guess, but
Yeah,
not really super realistic future for me.
it's a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I honestly am curious to how that will go in my life. Because I think there's just some expectation that you're just in most of these places that even if you're not like someone who goes out a lot, that you're just like
That you at least
that
drink.
you just casually do it. You know what I mean? Just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll just have a beer. Oh, I'll just drink wine with dinner.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But some people are very chill about it, which is like it's a very imperfect science, along with almost everything in exercise science. Where
Yeah,
there
sure.
are plenty of competitive runners who even smoke, which is unreal. Like,
Right. Yeah.
like that's unbelievable to me. But it is a thing, and I don't know how it's a thing, but and drink. I mean, 100%. There are tons
Right.
of runners who drink and are really good. I've heard stories of runners like historically, even like Steve Prefontaine, super famous American runner, and he was known for going out a lot, is my understanding.
Yeah.
And, he beat everyone at the time. So there are probably plenty of people who were super locked in and never drinking, and he beat them.
Except when you're thinking about it, yeah. When you're thinking about it, you're like, this is weird. This is not good.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge limitation. And with all the science stuff that comes out, and there's just a lot more anti-drinking sentiment these days, I think. I've seen things online that are like saying that this is the generation that drinks the least out of any generation.
I think
in the
it, I think
United
it, I
States
think
ever.
it came back though. I thought.
Drinking came back?
I thought we came back. Yeah. I thought we.
Did we? I thought
we did.
I thought we were falling off. I saw something the other day that said
I saw that.
we drink the least out of any generation.
I saw the drink the least thing a little bit ago, and then more recently I saw this thing that was like, actually, they're back.
Really?
Drinking's back.
I saw something that said women drink more than they have, but men drink less.
Huh. I think it's definitely true that we definitely still drink less than other generations, but that's just because of weed.
Do you think so?
Sure, surely. I don't know.
I guess. How many states is weed legal in?
I know a lot of people. I mean, I can't think of many people that don't drink.
don't
yeah, like, I think
drink or don't
the volume
smoke
is
slash do weed in some capacity.
they're just both.
Yeah.
I think in both of them, it's really hard for me to think of someone who doesn't do it.
Right.
I think the volume of drinking is definitely. I don't drink that much, but I do drink. But
Yeah. It is interesting, and that's the difference with other countries, I suppose. Because
yeah,
Europe or even more extreme Japan, there's just very little weed, so do that.
there's no weed.
Maybe that discourages people. Or encourages people, I should say, for drinking.
Yeah, not that weed is like a substitute, but
Yeah, I think some people probably do treat it as such, though. Definitely.
that's probably it. It's not the same though. It's not the same. Doesn't hit the same.
Yeah, I'm not tapped
They
in.
scratch different itches.
Yeah, but I think, yeah, it is true. I would be curious to see like a state by state, for states that have legalized weed and don't, and how much the young population is drinking.
Right. Yeah.
Because I wonder if California drinks a lot. No, that would be a good test.
But-
California.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Moral
we'll
of the
see how
story
these
is- Yeah.
things affect us in our
Moral of the
international.
story is there will be no integration.
Yeah, there never is.
I don't.
you're,
I don't think there ever is.
yeah, you're always cooked.
I don't think
Yeah.
there, even in your own country, I don't think you can.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
Especially
it's
when your
true.
country's the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think it's extremely difficult to be 100% integrated with any group, I suppose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the only reason why you feel integrated is because you're from there, you know?
Right. Right.
So-
You're from there. Your friends have been there. You've been there.
Yeah.
It's nostalgic. I think that helps.
100%.
But yeah, there maybe is no such thing as true integration. So
Yeah,
maybe
no
I just
such
have to
thing.
stop worrying about it.
Yeah, just go do it. Just go live.
Yeah.
Go live abroad.
Yeah, I think that is moral of the story.
Yeah. Do it soon before before we get cooked.
Facts. It's true. Yeah, no, it's way harder once you have kids, or
Yeah.
just if you're older in general. I feel like that's just a effect of global societal expectations of being a young person versus being an older person. Like if you're in your young 20s, I think almost anywhere, if I go there, people will just be like, "Oh, like you're just doing something here that's cool." But if I
Just a
go
guy.
at like 35, they're like, "Where's your wife and where are your kids from?"
Yeah, the worst looks is when they're like the 50 or 60-year-old guys and they're just like in Asia alone.
Yes, exactly.
That's the worst look.
That's what you never ever want to be. So,
I'm sure a lot of them are pretty nice, but
no, I'm sure
Yeah.
they're nice, but it's just not
it's not a good
not my
look,
cup of tea. It's a terrible look. I won't be doing that.
especially when they're walking around with the young Asian women.
Yeah, it's the worst, bro. Genuinely the worst, bro. Like, oh, it's so bad. It's really bad.
It's bad. Yeah.
I can't even. Yeah, that's why I have to. If
Yeah.
I'm gonna live in Asia, it's gonna be when I'm young. I can't be associated with
Valid.
that group.
Valid.
Or if I'm married there.
That's
so-
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if you move
But
there
they're not.
solo at an older age, it's not a good look.
Yeah. on that note, that's the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know if that was 2 episodes or 1.
I have no idea. We'll see in post.
In post.
All right,
Splice it up.
bye.